Hello everyone, I'm Regina Bale, Environmental Education Coordinator at Florida Gulf Coast University's The Water School. I work for the Center for Environment and Society. I'm glad you're watching today so you can learn a little bit more about using Survey 123 to create a web map. In this video series, we will learn how to take the data from a Survey 123 and create a web map. This will help you and your students to see patterns in the data that you're collecting as you're heading into your schoolyards to collect environmental data. So let's get right into it. So to start off with, you're going to log into ArcGIS Online and you will see your organization's homepage. The homepage you see in front of you is my organization, Florida Gulf Coast University, but you should see something related to your school district. Across the top of the page is a banner with multiple options on it. To find a map that you've already been working on and that you've saved, you'll want to click on the Content section. Clicking on the Map section opens up a new blank map, and then opening Map Viewer in the app also opens up a new blank map. The Content section will show all of the maps, layers, forms, story maps, dashboards, anything that you've been making or working on. So when I click on My Content, you'll see a screen similar to this. On the left side of your content, it can be separated into folders. So I always recommend that you click on All My Content if you have a small amount of content or a small amount of items and you're not sure where you saved your map that you're looking for. You can filter the item type to just be maps, and then you should be able to have a list of only maps that you can find the one that you're working on for today by the title. You can also use the search function to search for the map by the name or the keyword. So there's a lot of different ways that you can find the map that you were working on before. So the map that I was working on before I'm using for these videos is my FGCU K12 pH water quality map. So on this screen, once you click on the map that you've selected, you'll get this screen that shows you more information about the map. Once this screen appears with more details about the item in your content, you can definitely add tags or other options or descriptions to it. Right now, I just built this map recently, so I haven't added any new ones, but you could always click on the different sections here to edit. I often add more detail to this page once I'm a little bit further along in the design process of my map, because writing the description now when I don't have all of the components built seems kind of silly, but you could always edit as you go. So you're going to click on the Map Viewer button for your map. It is in the upper right corner and it's in blue. The arrow is pointing towards it. Do not use the drop down as it will open the map in Map Viewer Classic, which is no longer going to be supported. So we want to make sure that we're working in the new map viewer by not clicking on that drop down, but only clicking on the Open in Map Viewer button. So in the last video, I changed the symbology of my map to show pH of each data point by the size of the dots. You can see in the key over here, the dot adjusts for the actual amount of pH. So the larger the dot, the higher the pH level, the more basic it is. The lower, the smaller the dot, the more acidic that pH is. I also changed it to the green color, which is the color that we use for our university. So you can make all of your own symbology changes that differ, and you can still follow along with this process to make pop-ups with this video. So this video is going to focus on taking it from just the symbology style changes to pop-ups. So you can follow along with your own map about a different topic. It should still work for you. So the pop-up section has an icon of a call-out box. You can see that it's highlighted here with an arrow pointing towards it. When you hover your cursor over that icon, a label will appear with the title Pop-ups. Once you open the pop-up section to configure your pop-ups, the generic pop-up appears on the left side of the screen. In this example, you can see on the left side of the screen here, this is kind of the pre-made pop-up. So its title is FGCU K12 pH Water Quality Results Survey. Below the title is a chart with all of the data input questions in the left column and the answer data in the right column. So this is what you get without configuring anything. This is just what pops up right away. So looking at our map viewer pop-up, the pop-up configuration has a lot of different options to work with for customizing your pop-up experience for your user. Always make sure to think of the purpose of your map, the data that's being represented, and the user when making design choices. Your user should be able to use the map to better understand the data being presented. For example, depending on your data, you may not need pop-ups for your map at all. Then you can just toggle the enable pop-ups and turn it off right here. So let's build our pop-ups. So we have our pop-up right here, which is the generic one that is set up. And we have our pop-up configuration window. And looking at this pop-up configuration window, we have a title, a fields list with another title and a description. So I'm going to show you what you can change here to change your pop-up. So let's start with the overall title of the pop-up. This title here at the very top is what will show up first. I've just changed it to pH testing results, and that is my new title at the top. Automatically, it has the previous title on it that is from your survey results because we linked this data from a survey. So you can make it more specific or you can leave it as is. So here I wanted to make some changes. So the title, we called it pH testing results, and right there it's ready. But you can also make some adjustments on the lines below it. So in the fields list, there's a fields list title. In this title, it just shows a little bit larger right here. It is not the main title for every single one. That's the pH testing results. This is for the beginning of the field section. So these are the fields where we inputted data. So for this one, I put water sample collected on. I used these brackets here to select from the fields list the date and time. So now this will automatically, for each one of these dots we click on, it will change the date. So if I collected a water sample on June 10th, I click on it, it will say June 10th, all automatic. So that's the fun of using these brackets here. But this title is optional. If you don't want text to appear here, you don't have to write anything. The same is true for the description. You can leave this description blank. Here I put in see the chart below for all data collected, and I have this chart with the date and the pH of the water sample. These, once again, you can leave them blank or not, but these are the fields that appear here. So it depends on your user. Does your user just want to see all of the data in a chart? Do they need some text for support? It's up to you. You can also choose to use the brackets again. Brackets are available in the main title, in the title of the fields list, and in the description of the fields list. These brackets allow you to put in some data that will automatically populate. So depends on what you want to use it for. This survey has very minimal amounts of data. It asks one question really. It says, what is the pH? Date and time is automatic, and then you place your location. So there's not too many things to configure here, but it gives you a good example of things you can do with it. So selecting your fields. If you had more data, you could always select more to show up, like a chart with lots of different data points. So we have the first title, we have the field list title, the description in the fields list. We then have select fields. The only two fields I selected for this survey was the data and time and the pH of the water sample, because that's what we need to be in the pop-up for the user to find. You also have an entire section to scroll down that you can add to it. So I mean, the object ID is like the, generated number that went with the survey that you input. the edit date. There's a lot of different things in here. But if you work on this and you have something like pH and temperature and salinity, you might want to choose which ones are most important to be seen. So all of those options, every piece of data, every point that's been made is in the select field section. Now, an important point I always like to make, you need to save. So as you're working through and you're collecting all of that information, you're getting your pop-up together, you're configuring it, you're testing it out, you want to save. Otherwise, those changes are gone, especially if you've done a lot of work and there was just some sort of glitch. You're going to have a problem, but at least if you've been saving your progress, you can go back and forth. So the last thing I wanted to show you is some examples of what we've done with our pop-ups. So this pop-up on the far left here is part of our Manatee Park map. So you can see our symbology down here. We have animals. So these are our dogs that represent our animals, our dog symbol. And here it says found at Manatee Park, Fort Myers, Florida, a vertebrate animal on February 7th, 2023. So this uses those brackets. So I have brackets in here for it to tell me that it's a vertebrate animal. And I have brackets in here for it to tell me the date that it was selected. Then here I have, see the images below, description, alligator in the water. This section after the word description is the brackets. So when students typed in their description of what they saw, it pops up there. So this has a lot of like pre-set up things in it, but no chart. I removed the chart. Then here's the photo, there's the alligator. In this one, it was our STEM learning in Southwest Florida. Our symbology was the different shapes to show the different types of learning of science, technology, engineering, art, and math. When you click on it, you get this section that says STEAM Learning. Check out this science experience from February 11th, 2023. Brackets are set up for the science part because you had to input what type of experience it was. Was it science or technology? So this will change depending on the data that you input. Same with the date will change as well. Here it says on a scale of 1 to 5, this experience was a 5 because learning about the insects at the mosquito booth. See the images below. So this one also has the brackets set up. So in here, the level 5 students, when they got this survey, they had to click 1 through 5. So that will pre-populate to show the amount. Then this section right here with the quotes, that is another description or written response by students that will pre-populate. And then we set it up for the image to appear as well. So these two have some similarities in them where we use those different brackets to put in a field item instead of making a chart. This last one is just a flat out chart all the way through that shows you what survey that you're working on and then what information that you gathered. This one is a pre-populated pop-up where we didn't really add or change anything to it. It just automatically had this information, which might be the exact information that you need. And here for our symbology, we actually used the shape of a kind of evergreen pine tree as our tree for each time we took a tree data collection sample. So a lot of different options there and things that you can do with pop-ups. So hopefully this video helped you understand a little bit more about how you can use pop-ups in your web maps that you have developed using your Survey 123 data. For more information, I hope you check out the rest of this video series, and as needed, go back and watch any of these videos to get up to speed on using Survey 123, web maps, and your data dashboard. Thanks for watching.